Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and yes, I've bought something very unlike me, but please wait and let me explain. I've bought a Heretic Labs Article 1, and there's many people going to be not understanding why I bought this. Even I don't half understand it, but one thing that I'll say is I'll never write anybody off for how they want to play. So you have speed softers, you have, your more milsimmers, you have your gas users, you have your HPA users. It really doesn't bother me what anybody uses. We all play to a rule set. The speed softening thing isn't for me. But then when I'm going to a lot of like CQB games, I'm seeing a lot of people with these things, and it just piques that curiosity part of my brain of like, I don't like that style or play that style, but I kind of just want to get in their heads and understand the platform. So I picked one up. I picked the most base model up one that they do, and that's literally because you know me by now, we're going to be doing some stuff with this when the time allows itself. But this thing is, most of you that watch me for gas blowback content, you're going to think this thing's butt ugly and you're not going to understand why. But this is basically a MTW, massively skeletonized on the whole thing. They've got this sort of carbon outer barrel here. They don't come with a rail, but you can fit them. And it's basically, it kind of reminds me of what the Americans call pistols nowadays. Like everything AR is a pistol. But we obviously get that in the box. We get a magazine. We get some other bits and bobs here. I'm just going to check and see if those, I don't think there will be, those restrictors and stuff, which are not in here. So that must be something with the XTS engines only. But I bought a base model because there's some interesting things that I want to do with this. And it's not necessarily me wanting to do interesting things with the gun. I want to try some ideas that I have that won't really be applicable to a lot of the guns that I have. But as a technology and a new way of doing something, I think this is going to be the perfect thing to do it on. Obviously, that will make sense much further down the road, but today we're just going to have a look at it and see what's cracking. So I picked up one of these. I needed a couple of extra batteries anyway for my other HPA bits and bobs because I'm down to one battery because I keep losing them, they're so small. And I also picked up a bunch of these Amarok mags, and these are another 250 round mid-cap style mag that's kind of in direct competition with the PTS EPM ones. So I have a bunch of these PTS EPM ones. They're a 250 round mid-cap magazine. There's no winding, there's no rattling. It's the EPM really has dominated the market, but the reason I bought the Amarok ones is to see if they're any good, because they do come out a little bit cheaper and they give you a lot more choice in terms of colours and stuff like that. So you get like an EPM, I think these are EPM, like MTW EPM mags. So an EPM mag from PTS, but it has the auto cut-off function on the back there, which will, interface with the board and stop the gun firing when it's empty. Here is a good example of those springs on the feed tubes that I suggest you pull out and throw in the bin, because they are an accident waiting to happen, all to save 2 BBs, which is just ridiculous. So this gun doesn't have a stock. This is the base one that they do. They do multiple versions of the articles. Some come with stocks, some come with like the tank grips and stuff. It's very weird. It's the first JST connector I think I've ever seen that's white. I've only ever seen a JST connector in red. Very, very strange. But plug this in. It'll have the standard board. It's not going to have a blink or anything like that, but I probably will end up swapping it out to a blink. Let's plug this in here. It is easier to put your batteries in the grip slot. Is that going one way? But it's annoying. But there we go. I also don't like when these airlines kink towards, your trigger guard. It's like it needs to be back this way. We'll see if it chronos any better than my Dig 2 out the box. What we'll do, we're just going to pull the upper and lower part just to one side like this. And then you can do this many ways. You can do it with your fingers, though to be honest, just get a pair of needle nose pliers, grab it, pull it out that end, pull it out this end, if it allows you. And that little spring, just yeet it into oblivion. It is the main thing that I hate about these MTWs, because it's just, however, you know, we all like safety. None of us want to cop a stray round in the eye. It's just asking for a negligent discharge. So anyway, that's the last I'm going to say about it. Just pull it out. So we've got a battery on it. We need some air. Now this is again set up from when we did the Dig 2, so it's actually running at 90 psi. Whenever I set these Wolverine Storms, they always seem to creep up a little bit after I've set it. We'll see if it normalises after I fire around. I always thought they had a quicker refresh than that as well. Anyway, let's chrono this damn thing and see what it's doing. Hopefully it's somewhere where we don't have to mess about with it all too much. They do have a short barrel on them. Let's put some rounds in this mag. I believe it's a 120. And we'll give it a whirl. I'm using .25s. We've got the chrono set to a .25. Let's put the first round through it. And there we go. We're bang on a joule. Happy days. So we'll test its consistency. So 1.01, 1 joule, 0.99, 0.99, 0.99, 0.99, 0.99, 0.99, 0.9. Every shot is now coming out at 0.99. The variance is so good, or so tight. It's of course loud. Let's do a bit of auto. And there we go, stops on empty, pull it out, we get 2 BBs drop out. So yeah, it's basically an M4 HPA MTW in the palm of your hand. You got no stock, you got no handguard, but it's literally meant to be like, I've seen a lot of the guys use these at like HC2, and they'll run around like this, and they can get their like the dye masks and stuff. Yeah, if they've got a red dot or something, they can really get up behind the gun. And for CQB, it works. I understand that. I was just interested. I keep seeing them, people use them. I keep seeing them in the cabinets HC2, and I was like, you know what? I just want to get one to play around with. I'm probably not going to do game days with it. Well, who knows? Strange things have happened. But there's some interesting things I want to do with the front end of this, and this is going to be the perfect platform to do it. The Amarok mags, we'll be taking a look at these as well, because I'm quite interested. The one thing I will say is, well, they are cheaper. They're almost feels like they're a little bit heavier than an EPM one. Now we can measure that, because I've got some scales here. So we've got EPM 1. Let's move that into the shadow where you can see it like that. EPM 1 unloaded, 194. Amarok. Oh, Jesus Christ, they're the same. So both weigh the same, both hold 250 rounds. What I will say is the externals on these Amarok mags remind me of the cheap Nuprol N mags, if you remember those mags. They were like cheap mid-cap style and high-cap mags, and this whole texture reminds me of that. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetics. I just think it looks very plain Jane and boring. The EPM ones have been a state for a long time. I probably do have a couple here actually somewhere of the original P mags. Can't see one. I would have much preferred them to sort of, you know, put a PMag style on that. Let's grab. So this is obviously one we've got the bullet window, but you see with like these sections here. I would have preferred them to keep it more PMAG-esque. But, you know, each to their own. If everyone was the same, it'd be a boring world, wouldn't it? So you can get these, you can get them in different coloured tops. So they do them in blue, yellow, red. They also do different casings in like dark earth and grey and stuff like that. They do a bunch of other different colours, but they hold less. So they do some that are like completely transparent. I think they hold like 150 rounds off the top of my head. It's not quite, it's not as many as these, but the whole mag's transparent, so you can see the BB feed through the mag, and I do think that's kind of cool. But you know, it's not a 250 rounder. So what I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to do a deep dive on these mags anyway. I'm going to load up an EPM one with 250 rounds. Takes a while, even on the Vanguard. We're going to load up an Amarok with 250 rounds. They both filled fine. None of them really struggled, so that's good. And we're going to use what air we've got left in the tank to try these. Now, the way to try these obviously is with the auto function. So EPM ones usually have no issue. Sometimes the first few rounds you put out will be low powered. Now I'll just check that with the chrono. So this is a fully loaded 250 round EPM one. 0.92, 0.92, 0.94, 0.95, and then we're back up to the 0.98, 0.99 range. So sometimes it's probably the pressure from the mag pushing on the nozzle. But let's dump it and see how it feeds. Let me get some glasses on. I'm going to dump all the rounds and see what it does. My ears are ringing, but perfect feed from start to finish. We're now going to try the Amarok. Oh, we're going to get back to the fitment in a minute because that one felt different. First round, 0.97, a little bit higher. So we are pretty much, it's almost like it wasn't putting as much pressure on as the EPM one, so you're not getting that couple of round lull. Now it's only a tiny amount, but I have chronoed MTWs and other guns before. It's more like apparently electric stuff, like mid-cap syndrome and stuff, but I have seen them struggle a bit with the first 2 to 5 rounds and then they're fine. This one didn't have that, so technically the joule dropped less with this mag than that mag, but that could be completely irrelevant. It could be a complete fluke, so don't really pay attention to that. But we're going to dump this on full auto and see how it does. Now it did hiccup at the end there, but I think it's because we've gone through the air. So we just, in fact, no, we should be okay. It almost sounded like the pressure dropped in the airline. It didn't really sound like that typical. Maybe it was, but from start to finish, pretty damn good. Really, really, smooth. So can't really complain there at all. The fitment, what was that? EPM one goes in and it does wobble around a bit. This one felt like it was more, it's quieter. You hear that? That would indicate that there's more of a gap. So I think actually the Amaroks are a better fit in this MTW. Let's try it with the Dig 2. So we do get it a bit on the noise with the Amarok, and then the EPM one, but we get it quite a lot actually. So the Amarocks seem to fit a little better, but that could differ from rifle to rifle. I'm just really interested to give these a go and, you know, just really give them a run for their money. I think you can get a bit of discount on these if you buy them in like packs of 5. So I bought a pack of 5 because I've seen videos online of people getting them in a box, like an Amarok box. Now these are all sent to me individually. I did pick up a bunch of them. The only thing about these Amarok mags that concerns me is a lot of the stuff I've been seeing online. People have been opening the mags up and the mags are just coated in oil. Obviously, that's a big no-no. For me, well, for me personally it is. So what I'll do eventually is take one apart and see if that's the case, or whether they don't oil them anymore, because, you know, you get oil in your mag, your oil transfers to your BBs transfer the oil into your hop unit. Oil on your hop unit is a no-no, because it's basically negating, you know, it's reducing the amount of friction that you've got, and hop-ups work on friction. So I bought a bunch in red just because I didn't really want yellow, even though yellow was the brightest. I was actually thinking that like the cassettes would be completely transparent in that colour, which I thought would be cool, but it's literally just the top plate, so the rest of it's black. I just thought it'd be nice to be able to see the inner workings if you took the bottom off. So yeah, we can give these a go. I've got 5 of these Amaroks. I think I've got 5 EPM ones, and just as I'm, you know, using them over a bit of time, I think it's going to take it. I need to get games in, because the EPM ones have been fantastic. You know, dumping them into a box like that's fine, but we need to test them over time. We need to put rounds in, leave them loaded for a game day, see if the springs cope with it. So this is going to be a more test of time thing. I'll just take one apart before I do so, just in case they are covered in oil, because obviously I don't want that. So bit of a weird video for you guys. You know, it's not the normal gas blowback content that you're used to, but don't worry, I'm not becoming a speed softer, even though there's a lot of AI images floating around the Discord of me where people have AI'd me into speed soft gear. But I just thought it was unique, and curiosity gets the better of me. And I'm just interested to find out more. So I'll be doing something with this. I won't be leaving it as it is, because I can't use a gun like this. That's what my PTX is for. So there you go. Article 1. Like I say, they do the Article 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. They do it in different colours. You can get it with black and red carbon. You can get it with blue anodized upper receivers. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's directional. Let me try it again. Oh, no, it's not. So yeah, they seem to sell really well. I've just been paying attention when I've been lurking at HC2. I always pay attention to what people are buying, and I ask them, you know, their experience and what they use, and a lot of people are going to this for CQB. So I'm going to stop repeating myself now. Hopefully you have a great weekend. I'm not sure when these videos will go out, so this one will probably go out on Sunday. But I hope you had a great weekend. Bear with me, this room is a complete bomb site at the moment. There is things progressing with my new studio / showroom / office. So there's some fixes that we've been waiting on to be done. That's been done. Now we can go in and decorate and then kit it out and get everything done for the studio. And then me, because it's going to be a proper legit studio space, for me making content, I'm not having to, because at the moment there's so much stuff here, there's so many guns, there's so many gun cases, that I'm having to come into this room just to get to this bench, which is also a bomb site. I'm having to move half the room out, come and film a video, and then move all that stuff back in the room. It's just unideal. So in the new space, it'll be purpose built. I'll be able to walk in with something, stand in front of the camera, and we're good to go like that. And hopefully, I'm not going to commit to it, because I did that crazy thing for like 12 months where I was releasing a video every day. I'd like to do that. I'm not going to force myself to do that. But if I can, of course, I'll get back to that. And there's going to be loads of interesting stuff we're going to be doing as well. We're going to be working with the guys, obviously, at HC2. There's other content creators at HC2 that we've spitballed some ideas. One of the guys that I talk to a lot, Ben, he started his own channel, Dead Men Airsoft. He's a great Airsoft player. He's much better than I am. He's just started uploading his gameplays. He's new to it. Go give him a follow and a subscribe on YouTube. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. But he's been helping with the office build as well. So he was there yesterday doing the repairs and stuff that the roof needed. So big shout out to Ben, and go support his new channel. So we'll be doing some stuff with him as well. I actually went down there yesterday, which was Thursday, because I'm filming this on Friday. And I basically took in my Toxicant KP9, and I was like, "Do you want to use this for the evening?" And he was gassed. So there should be a gameplay coming up where he's using that. And I think I might just do that because I don't get to go to games as often because I'm super busy. So I jokingly said to him, "What do you want next Thursday?" So it might possibly be giving him the Toxicant XM5, and he can run around with that. So we'll see. We'll see what time's like. So thanks, Junior, as always. Sorry for ranting as usual. Join the Discord. It's free of charge. You can get involved with the A community. Link is in the description below. And as always, from me and Bench, soon to be new Bench, who knows, we'll be seeing you in the next one.